Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock, which means it's time for another video. And today I'm back with a 3 best things video. If you've not seen one of these, the idea is that I take a particular topic or a particular genre of magic and I talk about 3 tricks within that genre that you might have never seen before. Because let's be honest, there's millions of tricks out there, aren't there? There's literally millions of tricks. There's not just one coins across, there's a million coins across, and it doesn't matter how well read you are. There's a very good chance that you haven't seen every particular trick of every particular genre. And one thing that I try to do on this channel is I try to shine a spotlight on stuff that I think's good, that you can then go off and learn and add to your repertoire. And today, I'm going to talk about 3 tricks. I'm going to talk about 3 versions of cards across that you've never seen before. Now, I love cards across. It's one of my favorite routines. I perform it on stage. I perform it as a front of cloth piece in an illusion show. I perform it big tables. I perform it walk around. I perform it mix and mingle. And I've got so many different versions of cards across. And sometimes people say to me, Craig, which is your favorite version? And different versions are useful in different scenarios. You know, a lot of people have talked in the past about my invisible cards across from the Visible project. That's one of my favorite cards across, but there's lots of environments that I wouldn't perform that in, but there's certain environments that would be my go-to cards across. Anyway, on this video, I'm going to talk about 3 versions of cards across that you've never seen before. Now, if you've been living under a rock your entire magical career and you don't know what cards across is, it's the concept of having a packet of cards held by one spectator, a packet of cards held by another spectator, and having a certain amount of cards jump from one packet to another packet. It's clean, it's direct, and it generally makes a really big impact on an audience. So, without further ado, let's have a look at 3 tricks using double backers. So the first trick we're going to be looking at is a technical refinement of Las Vegas Leaper by Paul Harris. Now, I remember first learning Las Vegas Leaper many years ago on Michael Amar's Easy to Master Card Magic series. Now, this was a set of videotapes. That's correct, videotapes, and I bought the first 3. It was videotapes, that's how old they are. It was a set of videotapes. Eventually, there were like 12 volumes, I believe, but this was in the first 3 volumes. It was released by L&L Publishing, and it was basically Michael Amar taking what he considered to be the best tricks created by a variety of different creators and presenting them on one project. There was some amazing magic on those videotapes. There really were. You can still get them now as a download because obviously Murphy's Magic own the rights to L&L Publishing stuff. But on there, Michael performed Las Vegas Leaper. I then later found out it was a Paul Harris trick, and I believe that you can actually learn these if you've got the Art of Astonishment books. There is the Las Vegas Leaper routine in there. Now, what makes this routine so genius is that and I'm going to talk about the original for a second before I talk about the technical refinement that I've put together with it. The original Las Vegas Leaper count is just genius because what it allows is it allows you to give 10 cards to somebody, have them count through the cards and hold on to them, but you've already loaded 3 cards into their hand. And it's this count that does that in a really organic, clever way. Most cards across up until that point involve palming cards and adding them on, which is fine, but some people don't like palming. My problem with it, not a problem, but one thing that I tried to get away from with it is the way that it was presented originally is the vanish of the cards, in my opinion, wasn't as clean because you took 3 cards off, you made them vanish one at a time, and then there was a second phase where you very cleverly added another 3 cards as well to end up with 16 cards. That was the original. Now, I wanted to make it more, I don't want to say pure because it's already a beautiful routine, but I only wanted one phase. And rather than counting 3 cards off, I wanted to give one person 10 cards, I wanted to give another person 10 cards, have them hold on to them, and then 3 cards would jump across. So this is my version of Las Vegas Leaper. The Las Vegas count is still in there. That's exactly the same. I've changed the second set of cards that I give out to somebody. And you'll see this in the routine. I'll quickly go through what I do. So if you've got Las Vegas Leaper, you'll know what you need to do in order to do this version. But let's have a look at a performance at it first of all. Jack, you gonna help me? I'm actually going to tell you how to cheat at cards. Now,
that'll be handy.
Yeah, I figured you'd like to know this. There's 2 techniques you need to be able to do, but the most important technique is the ability to pass cards to another player in the game without them realizing. Very, very important for a couple of reasons. One, let's say that you're playing cards with a friend and they don't know that you're friends with that person. Having the ability to send specific cards over to them is great, because then they could use them in their hand. They're not technically cheating, you are, but they can split the money with you. Another way would be if you're playing cards with somebody who you don't like and you want to try and send cards over into their hand that are terrible cards, so they ultimately lose, right? Having that ability is really important. Nice. And so I'm going to show you how to actually send cards to somebody else without them actually even realizing it, okay? It's a technique that's been handed down from generation to generation, and I'm going to expose it on the internet for the first time right here. Now, have you ever been to Vegas?
Not yet.
Okay, if you ever go to Vegas, they're really careful about card sheets. Like, they look for card sheets, and they make everyone use the Las Vegas count, or the gambler's count. Have you ever seen that before?
Don't think so.
Let me show you. So we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. We'll flip them over. And let me show you the Las Vegas count, or the gambler's count. The idea is you need to count the cards so that the dealer, the croupier, at all times can see that the cards are being single and you're not sneaking extra cards in. So you take a card, you hold them face up, you take a card, you flick it to show its singularity, you put it underneath and you count it, so that's 1. You take the next card, you flick it, you put it underneath, that's 2. You take the next card, you flick it, you put it underneath, that's 3. That's 3, you do the rest.
Okay.
So that's 3.
Got to flick it.
Yeah, flick, so that's 4. And again, 5. You're so good at this.
Thanks.
6. Honestly, you could be a professional gambler. 6, 7. I love the flick. Goosebumps. 8, 9, 10. Now, normally we'd have 2 people doing this, but as you're on your own, I'm going to get you to put those 10 cards in the card box, but you can see there's nothing in there. No wire, threads, magnets, trapdoors, or chocolate-covered midgets. Okay? Put them inside there.
Chocolate midgets?
You never know. Are they good? You can have that right there. Now, we'll put it right there. So this is going to be your friend, and you need to hand some extra cards over to them without anybody else knowing. So we'll use another 10 cards. Now, you wouldn't be in the game, so you don't need to use the Las Vegas count. I'll just give you 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 cards. Hold your hand out for me. Take those cards and put your other hand on top. Okay? So you need to make 3 cards jump from there over to there. The first one, what I want you to do is I want to will it across. So I want you to kind of push it across like that.
Okay.
That was amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Honestly, if I was a card, I'd have gone across. That was brilliant. The next one, I want you to make the most magical noise you know. Woo! Wow. That was so magical. I mean, that was amazing. And the last one, I just want you to wave your hands over in the most mysterious way that you can. I like that you got the in as well. That might just mean you're cold, I don't know. But you had 10 cards, didn't you?
Oh, I did.
I haven't touched them. It's a math question. I know you're in marketing, not in finance, so I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about this. If you had 10 cards and we made 3 cards go across, how many would be there now?
7.
Count them.
Can I put them down?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
What the fuck?
I didn't even touch those. You've been holding them the whole time.
Where's every free gun?
Well, we had 10 cards in there. You counted them yourself, right?
There's never 30.
Well, take them out.
No fucking way.
And count them one at a time. Go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards. You're a gambler, Jack. You don't even know about it.
How the fuck?
So there you go, that's my technical refinements. Now, I love performing this routine. There's a lot of situations that you perform in that you've got a lot of pressure on you. It's impossible to actually palm. Well, it's not impossible, but it's more of a challenging situation if you're surrounded, whatever it may be. Having a routine like this in your repertoire is great because there is no palming at all. In fact, it's pretty much self-working. It allows you to focus on the presentation. Now, I love the clarity of this. You just give somebody 10 cards, they hold on to them. You give somebody else 10 cards, they hold on to them. You don't have to touch the cards, you don't have to do anything, and the 3 cards have jumped across. I really like that clarity of the routine as well. I also like the premise behind it, about how you're going to teach them how to cheat at cards. And one thing you have to do is to be able to give cards to another player without people realizing, and you're going to show them how to do that. That's a really fun hook, especially in the sort of environments that I perform in as well. So that's a really cool thing. Also, it's angle proof. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Angles are totally not an issue. Because you're not palming, because you're not having to worry about any technical sleight of hand at all, it allows you to focus on the presentation. And what's really nice is it feels so clean. You give them 10 cards, they count them, they've got 10 cards, you don't touch them. You give this person, you very clearly show that you've got 7 cards, and 10 cards. You show them and you give them the 10 cards, and then without doing anything, 3 cards jump across. If you have never performed a cards across before, you will be amazed at the reactions that you get from doing cards across. And this is a perfect example of a perfect routine like that. Now, if you want to do my version of Las Vegas Leaper, it's very simple. All you need to do is you have 13 cards at the top. That's going to be for the Las Vegas count. If you know Las Vegas Leaper, you'll know what I'm talking about there. And then underneath the 13 cards, put 3 double backers. That's all you need to do. So then you do the Las Vegas count, so they've got 13 cards. You then spread off 10 cards and you flip them face up. When you spread them off, it just looks like you're spreading off the 10 cards, but because of the 3 double backers, there's only 7. The double backers have done the vanish of the 10 cards for you, which makes it an awful lot cleaner, and it looks very fair. It looks like you just count off 10 cards, spread them out and give them to somebody else. So that's what you do. It's that simple. Please check out the original Las Vegas Leaper. There's a lot of places that you can learn it, because there's a lot of thought going into it, and it's worth learning the original version because it is very clever. You know, if you like that idea of having 3 cards and making them vanish one at a time, then that's a great way of doing it. It's just that tends not to work for me. And the original version had this beautiful moment where they count 13, and as they count 13. You're loading another 3 on as you push them over to them, which means that you can then do it a second time as a kickback. Anyway, the first version of Cards Across that you might never have seen before is Paul Harris, Las Vegas Leaper. Let's move on to the next trick. So the next version of Cards Across that you might never have seen before is my go-to Cards Across when I'm performing on stage, I'm doing cabaret, I'm doing that sort of environment. This is my go-to Cards Across. It's called Superfly. It's by Scott Alexander. Anybody who watches this channel on a regular basis knows I absolutely love Scott Alexander. For my money, he's one of the best creators in the world. He's funny. He's an incredible thinker of magic. His material is just ridiculously strong. I love Scott Alexander. And Superfly is a really cool trick. Now, I've changed it and streamlined it for my own performance because what Scott did with it didn't work. To be honest, when you see, it didn't work for me. I didn't want to say it didn't work. It worked brilliantly for Scott. It's hilarious. He always brings the house down. But for me, it didn't work that well. I tried to make it work. And I suppose there's a lesson there, which is don't just take a trick and do it exactly the same way as the creator. Just because it works for the creator doesn't necessarily mean that it works for you. Now, what Scott did when he originally did the trick, and this is a stage performance piece, this is not something that you want to do close up, but when Scott did the original Superfly, he had 10 cards put in an envelope and sealed them in an envelope. He had them sign the cards. He had them sign the envelope. They held onto it. He then had somebody else take 10 cards and take 3 cards and have 3 people pick cards and shuffle them back into the pack and then put them in an envelope and seal them up. And then he made the 3 cards jump across in a very original way, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And it was very clever. In fact, it fooled me. It's fooled everyone I've ever spoken to. There was no palming involved in the load of the envelopes or anything like that. They genuinely are 3 thought of selections. And I tried to make it work for ages and I couldn't. That for me, it was that moment where I was sending somebody out in the audience to have 3 cards picked. It was a dead time and I was kind of losing the audience. And I tried it so many different ways. But I love the premise of the cards jumping across and the use of the Glorpy gimmick, or the use of the sort of the zombie ball gimmick. So I wanted to keep that, but I streamlined the handling for myself. It's nowhere near as clever, it won't fool magicians, but the way that I do it is more like a traditional cards across, in that I have 10 cards counted out, put in an envelope, palm them off, add them onto another 10 cards, put into an envelope, they sign the envelopes and the cards jump across. For me, it's more of a direct approach, but I mean, this is all Scott Alexander. This performance that you're about to see wouldn't exist if Scott hadn't actually released Superfly, and I really encourage you to check out Superfly. I believe that it's in Scott's new book. I haven't got that yet, but I believe it's going to be in Scott's new book, so there's worth knowing about that as well. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at it. Here is a performance of me performing Superfly, and this is on stage.
Comedy magician, please put your hands together for Craig Petty.
Fantastic. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're having a good time. You sound so excited. My name's Craig. I'm a magician. Please contain your enthusiasm just for a second. I appreciate that. Guys, I'm going to perform for you the very first trick I ever learned when I was 6 years old. Would you like to see that? Fantastic. It uses a brown paper bag. Looking inside the bag, it is completely empty. My hand goes inside. Now let me see, you right there, sir. When I snap my fingers, I like to name any number between 1 and 5. Completely free choice. Say nice and loud so everyone can hear you. If you could do that right now for me. 78. Have you ever helped a magician before? And frankly, you're not helping one now, to be honest. We'll try that again. Between 1 and 5, when I snap my fingers, go for it right now. 4. Thank you. Years of practice. I said it was the first trick, I didn't say it's any good. Guys, the second trick's a bit better. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I have a bottle. I'm going to put the bottle inside the bag, and then inside the bag, the bottle is going to disappear. Give me an ooh. Congratulations on probably the single most sarcastic group I've ever heard in my life. The bottle's going to disappear on the count of 3. I want you to watch very carefully. Do not blink. It happens on 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the bottle's gone. Thank you. I'm good, right? This is the first part of this amazing trick. If I snap my fingers, the bottle comes back. I'm sensing hostility from some of you. Unfortunately, it doesn't get much better. But I'll try again. I'll tell you what we'll do this time, I'll let go of the bag. If I let go of the bag and the bottle disappears, would that be good enough to get a big round of applause? Right, that's the deal then. Everybody watch the bottle, watch the bag. On the count of 3, it'll go. I'll let go. That's 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, the bottle has gone. I have let go. Thank you. I know. Years of practice. You do realise I'm going to keep doing this until you like it, right? Could be here a while. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a magic act, so let's try and do some magic. Watch the bottle, watch the bag. 1, 2, 3. That's the vanishing bottle. Ladies and gentlemen, completely gone. That's magic! Boom! Thank you. We're going to carry on. Well, we've got you guys whipped up into a fever pitch. Let's continue with this carnival-like atmosphere. I need 2 people to come up and help me. Can we have the help sites up? I need 2 people. Now, I love when I ask that. Everybody looks down as if to say, he doesn't look at me, I'm not going to pick him. That's not the case. I want 2 men. You right there, sir. If I'm not looking you directly in the eyes, I'm not being rude. The light is bouncing off your head a little bit, so I'm struggling. Can you put your hand in the air? Are you right there, sir, looking at that direction so I don't see you? Can you put your hand in the air? That's very good. Wonderful. Yes, of course you can come up and help me. Give them a big round of applause. Come on, give them a huge round of applause as they make their way up on stage. Hurry up, guys. I guarantee you, when you make your way to this bit, the audience is going to go crazy. I'm going to count them in and they'll go nuts. Watch this. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Wonderful. What's your name, sir? David, everybody! Where are you from, David? Sorry? I heard you the first time. I'm just sorry. It's from Northampton. And what's your name, sir? Paul. Paul, everybody! Slightly more popular than David. That's fine. Where are you from, Paul? Market Harbour. He's from Market Harbour. Nobody cares, that's fine. We're going to do a card trick. I know, I've really just like gone all out for this, haven't I? Pack of playing cards. So Paul, right? No, he's Paul, you're David. I'm getting confused. David, here's what I want to do. I want you to take the cards. It's not the sort of trick where you pick a card. I want to take the cards and count 10 cards into my hand, out loud, 1 at a time. When you count out loud, the audience is going to count along with you in big, loud voices. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. The first reason is so that we know there are exactly 10 cards in my hand. The second reason is, you're from Northampton, you probably need all the help you can get. Take the cards, ladies and gentlemen, when he counts the cards, count along with him. 10 cards, exactly. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Didn't even do a good job. Give him a big round of applause. Okay, let's go. And you're Paul, is that right? Pass the cards across to Paul. Take the 10 cards for me there, and what I want you to do is put them inside this envelope and then seal it up. While he's doing that, 10 cards, count along with him again, go! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you, you helped so much. That was wonderful. Take the 10 cards and put them inside that envelope, and then what I want you to do, take this pen, write your name on the front in big, huge letters so the audience, even the guys in the cheap seats at the back can see your signature. And do the same thing, if you can just write your name. That'd be wonderful. That's great. Thank you, David. And the smiley face, that just made all the difference. And, or, no smiley face, but, great. Across, change faces. Great, that's great. Face that way, hold the envelopes in front of you. Great stuff. Right, you guys, this 10 cards here, 10 cards here. I'm not going to touch the cards at any point, all the envelopes. What I want you to do, guys, I want you to use your imagination. I want you to imagine that there are not 10 cards in those envelopes. I want you to imagine in those envelopes there are £10,000. Still sarcasm. Thanks. And what I want you to do is I want you to take those envelopes and put them where people couldn't find them. So even if you were going through airport security, they wouldn't find those envelopes. I'm going to be less subtle. Shove them right there, please. Just shove them right down there. I say, I'm usually there, but there you go. It involves you as well. There we go. All the way in. We can't see them. No, we want them to go south for the winter. There you go. That's very good. Right, here we go. Arms down by the sides. Ladies and gentlemen, the idea of this is very, very simple. I'm going to try and make 3 cards disappear from here. And they're going to appear over here. You will feel them go. And you will most definitely feel them arrive. It's going to be wonderful. Okay, we're going to have to do this under the cover of darkness. Put your arms down by your side. Don't move a muscle. Under the cover of darkness means I have a handkerchief. And I'm going to come behind you right now. I know. I'm very excited about this, that's good. My advice is not to back up right now. 3 cards from here to here. Are you ready? No, I said, are you ready? No, look, if you get excited, the audience will get excited as well. Let's try that again. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
He's ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
No. We tried it with him. Come on. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Fantastic. Guys, are you ready? Yeah! 3 cards from here to here. You're about to feel the magic happen, buddy. Can I have some cards jumping across music, please? Cards jumping across music, please. Here we go. Think happy with us. Oh, yeah. That's one. Concentrate. Yeah? First time that's happened again, isn't it? Here we go, count 2. One last card, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Come on. 3 times in one night, you can do this. You can do this. Say magic words, Viagra. 3 cards, come on! Cut the music! 3 cards have jumped across. Now, be honest, I have been nowhere near your crotch. Reach in there, take it out. I don't want to go in there after it. But I will. Here you go. Take that envelope, rip it open with grace and style. Nice. Take out the cards, don't leave any in there. Before you do, what's 10 minus 3? Good job. Take all the cards out, not in there. Take the envelope, throw it on the floor. You're going to count the cards, they're going to count along with you. We're hoping there's 7. Count them, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards! Come on! But hang on a minute. We've got to go somewhere. I also have not been anywhere near your crotch, have I? I take the envelope out myself. I don't want to touch it. Or smell it. Take it out. Rip it open! Now hang on a second. 10 plus 3.
13.
Good job, Mark Harper, boy. You're going to take out the cards. If there's 13 cards there, every man, woman and child is going to go absolutely crazy. Take the cards, count them, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards. Come on! Boom! Give it up for Paul, whatever his name is. Come on! Bring it out, boys. Yeah! Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Don't go to see. One more time, give a big round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your evening. You've been fantastic. See you again. Take care. Bye.
there you go. That is Superfly by Scar Alexander, or a streamlined version of it. So why is this such a good trick to perform? Well, first of all, it plays massive. The use of the envelopes and the use of the zombie ball gimmick really makes this stand out, really makes this a feature of any show you've seen it performed in. The challenge when you're performing on stage, especially to a big group of people, the challenge is to try and get tricks that pack small and play big. Unless you're doing an illusion show or you've got a lot of props, you know, you're going to be working out of a case. You've got to have something that packs small but plays big. This is the absolute definition of small packing but huge playing. It really does pack small, but it plays massive. And the gimmick, the zombie ball gimmick, in order to make the change, in order to make the cards jump across, that moment is hilarious. It brings the house down. Like, I've literally had people book me off the back of that routine, as long as I do that routine at their event. Like, it is a very funny thing. Now, you have to have the right performing character. If you are a very serious type of performer, that performance might not work for you. If you are the sort of person that only performs in kid shows or something like that, that might not work for you. But right time, right place, and most of the gigs that I do these days are absolutely perfect for this routine. Right time, right place, it absolutely kills. Now, I will point out that what I'm using in that particular routine, and what I've always used, is The Thing by Bill Abbott. When you buy Superfly, it comes with a zombie gimmick, but it's kind of cheap, and it comes with a handkerchief, which is kind of cheap as well. And I realized very quickly that The Thing by Bill Abbott is a million times better to achieve the effect that I want to achieve. So I actually used The Thing by Bill Abbott instead of actually using the stuff that came with Superfly. And that's a big tip for you. It looks so much more impressive. I find it hilarious that I bought a $200 trick in order to do a gag in the middle of somebody else's routine. But, you know, if it makes the routine better, then I'm all for doing that. But the bottom line is, the reason I love this is it packs so small, it plays so big, it's instantly reset for the next performance. So if I've got maybe 2 or 3 shows and I'm doing them back to back, then I don't have to worry. So there you go. Superfly by Scott Alexander. Also check out the original performance of Superfly, because it's very, very different to what I do. And it works great for Scott, and it's hilarious. It just doesn't work for me. Okay, so the final routine that I want to talk to you about today is, it's only about a month old, I'll be honest with you. It's only about a month old. It's a new routine that I've actually put together, and it's a version of Cards Across. And I developed this specifically because I wanted a lead-in routine to Reset by Paul Harris. I love Reset and Reswindled and all different versions of Reset and Reswindled. And I love performing it in close-up environments. I think it's just an amazing trick. I tend to go more for the Greg Wilson version than for the Paul Harris version, but whatever, it's an amazing routine. If you don't know it, 4 aces and 4 jacks or whatever change places. And I wanted a lead-in routine to that. And I was sitting around with 8 cards, and I was thinking, how can I, what can I do that's a great lead-in that I can then go into Reset? And I realised that I could do a Cards Across, because in essence, if you've got 4 aces and you've got 4 jacks, then what you have is you have 2 piles of 4 cards. So if I could do a Cards Across with 2 piles of 4 cards, then that would be a great lead-in. Now, there's actually an interesting point that I want to make here with the creating. When I created this trick, I wanted it to be a thought of cards that jumps across, right? So I wanted it to, I wanted somebody to think of a jack, and I wanted to put that packet over there. I wanted somebody to hold onto the ace packet, and then I wanted the thought of jack to jump across without me knowing what it was. So I show that the card's gone, and I show it's there. I ask them which jack it was, and I show that it's arrived. That's what I wanted to achieve, and I've managed to achieve that. And the only negative is I'm left kind of dirty. I'm left in a dirty position. I'm not left clean. The cards can't be examined at that point. So what I did, and you'll see this in the performance, is I then put together a follow-up routine, which is a very quick version of Follow the Leader. as a pseudo explanation of what they've just seen. And the reason I did that is because although I'm in a dirty position at the end of the cards across, I'm actually in the perfect position to do a follow the leader style routine. So I'm taking the negative or the disadvantage of the one routine and using it as an advantage in the next routine. And that's one thing that we really should think of as creators. You know, we tend to always think about the negative. We always tend to think about the bad thing. Oh, this trick I've created isn't very good because of this problem. Well, okay, it's got a problem, but what can you do with that problem? How can you turn that negative into a positive? How can you turn that disadvantage into an advantage? And this is probably something that I'm going to do a longer video on in the future. And I might even do a tutorial on this trick, and I might even do kind of a breakdown of this trick and the creative process of how I actually got to this point to kind of illustrate this. But as a creator, it's really important. We tend to create things and then just dismiss them because there's a massive glaring negative. But is there a way of taking that negative and turning it into a positive? And you'll see that in this routine. And I've worked it now in several gigs. It gets a really great reaction. And it's really pure because there's only 8 cards. Anyway, let's have a look at it. Here we go. Let's call it small packet cards across because it doesn't really have... Oh, reset cards across. There you go. It doesn't have a name, so we'll call it reset cards across. Let's have a look at that right now. So, I'm here with Jack.
Yo.
And you're going to help me, Jack. Is that all right?
Yeah, man.
I have a deck of cards. Now, in all honesty, my friend, this is not the sort of trick where you pick a card and I find it. It doesn't even matter what the order of the cards are. And the reason is we're not going to use the full deck, which is handy because, to be honest, I've never played with a full deck for years. Instead, we're just going to use 8 cards. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to take out the aces and the jacks.
Yeah.
So we're going to take out an ace, an ace, an ace. There's a jack and a jack and a jack and a jack. So we need one more ace. There you go. Although, does this remind you of a very famous pop band right there?
Jack 5.
It's the Jackson 5s. Jackson 5. Forget it, it's a bad joke. Right, okay, so it's not magic, there's a fine line between comedy and magic, and I'm terrible at both. 8 cards, we're just going to use 8 cards. All right. And it's not so much about the aces straight away, it's more about the jacks. I want you to think of one of these jacks, either the jack of hearts, jack of clubs, jack of spades, or the jack of diamonds. Have you got one?
Yep.
Did you think of the jack of diamonds?
No.
Interestingly, most people go for the jack of diamonds. Okay, cool. I'm going to pop these 4 jacks over here. Your job is to make sure I don't go anywhere near them, make sure I don't touch them or do anything like that. The aces stay over here, okay, in front of you. So I'm going to keep the aces over here in front of you, and I'm going to keep the jacks over here, right?
Okay.
And the idea is I'm going to try and make one card vanish from this packet over here and appear over here, and that's going to be the jack that you're thinking of. Without even you telling me, I'm going to make it go. Done.
What was done?
I've made the jack go across that you were thinking of. Like, seriously? No, seriously. What was the jack you were thinking of?
Jack of hearts.
Jack of hearts, yeah. Okay, so look. There's no jack there. There's 3 cards now. One card is gone. There's only 3. That's not ambiguous. Look, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One card genuinely has gone. And over here now, let me show you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 cards there now. 1 card extra. And not only that, but in between the aces, we actually have the jack of hearts. I told you. How insane is that? Let me just put that back over there. Now, I'll tell you how that works.
Please do.
It's very, very simple. It's just the fact that the aces always want to be with the aces. The jacks always want to be with the jacks. And if you separate them, they always want to come back together.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. Let me show you. We'll designate the ace of hearts as the leader ace. And we'll put the others behind it.
Okay.
And we'll designate the jack of hearts as the leader jack. And we'll put the others behind it, right?
Right.
So wherever that leader jack goes, the aces follow, the jacks follow. Likewise with the aces. So if I put them over here like this, they'll follow.
What the fuck?
If I do it again, they'll follow. It absolutely makes no difference. Whenever I move them around, The aces want to be with the aces. The jacks want to be with the jacks. And that is how it works.
What?
There you go.
I was watching the whole time.
I know. Any questions?
Yeah, how the fuck did you do that?
Magic. So let's look at a few of the advantages of this routine. First of all, it's not a difficult routine to do. It doesn't have any palming in it at all. It's literally only one move. There's one move in the whole of the routine, which is the count at the beginning. If you do the count, then that's all the moves are. Now, the other thing is they can only think of 3 of the jacks. They can't think of the jack of diamonds. But I always say at that point, you didn't think of the jack of diamonds, did you? And if they say, yeah, you say, I thought so, everyone thinks of the jack of diamonds. Just think of a different one. And it's almost like an extra effect built into it. So although it's a negative, it's not really a negative because it actually becomes more powerful if they do name the jack of diamonds. The cards jump across. It's genuinely a thought of cards across. They can think of any one of those jacks and it jumps across into the other packet with no moves. You can then show, and the nice thing is you can show that there's 3 cards there and you can show that there's 5 cards there without even knowing what the card is. And then as soon as they know what the card is, you can show that that particular card has appeared in between the aces, which is just really cool. I love that moment. I really do. It's easy to do. It doesn't require a table. Although I'm using a table in the performance, you don't need a table at all. There's no table required. And it's very, very baffling as well. And the follow-on phase, which is follow the leader, I don't know if you've ever done follow the leader before. Follow the leader is a really fun plot, and sometimes it can get a bit convoluted when people tend to use a ton of cards, but if you just keep it really simple, it can be a really strong plot that really baffles people. And although the second phase with the follow the leader plot was put in necessity in order to clean up the trick, in reality, it's a great follow-up because it's over so quickly, and the pseudo explanation of how this thing's done kind of is plausible, which it's not. If you think about it, it's totally not plausible, but it kind of flies on the face of the moment. And it really allows me to then go into reset, which was the original point behind this, because they're seeing cards jumping from one place to another. It allows me to say, now, let me show you what that would look like if I was going to make 4 cards jump to another place. Or 8 cards, we'll make them change places. We'll make 4 cards jump over there and the other 4 cards jump over here. Let me show you what that looks like. So it's a great lead into reset as well, which makes it a wonderful transition trick. And it's rapidly becoming one of my favorite tricks to perform in a close-up environment. So there you go. It's called the Reset Cards Across. Yeah, look out for the channel because if you guys, let me know in the comments down below. I don't really do tutorials, but I might do a tutorial on it, but use it as a way of pointing out how you can actually turn negatives into positives during the construction and creating of a particular routine. So there you go, guys. That is another magic stuff in the bag. Another 3 best tricks in the bag. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are there any particular routines in this series that you like? Do you agree? Are there any that you would do? Are there any that you do? I'd love to know what you think in the comments down below. Let's get a dialogue going. Also, if you haven't already done so, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. It makes a massive difference and it's a really big help. Just from a YouTuber's point of view, as somebody who does YouTube on a regular basis, when you see that subscriber count go up, it really makes it all worthwhile, you know what I mean? And finally, if you haven't already done so, go check out the NETRIX, www.thenetrix.com. You can go check out all of the different content on there. It's available immediately. I'm very proud of that platform. You want to see more, go check out the NETRIX. And I'll be back again soon with another video. So thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig for Magic TV.